No, you're not going outside. Well, by outside, I mean you're not going in the breezeway. Because this is, look at what you did to my door seal, you stupid. Well, you're not stupid, but I just replaced this door seal. And look what you did to it. You shredded it. I can't believe you. Well, anyway. Go ahead. It's cold out there. You're going to be begging to come back in 5 seconds. Guaranteed. Anyway. We have to go to the hardware store. That being me. It is cold. It's probably 20 freaking degrees out. I'm going to start the car and warm it up. It started. Yep, there it goes. Okay, here's what we got to do today. We have to, oh yeah, I forgot to mention. While you were out, I repainted all of this. All of it. And I used some of the leftover paint from the exterior walls of that office down there. And I did this because, all right, I didn't want to paint this hallway or this stairwell because it had its original paint left. It was still painted, you know, with its maybe not original coat of paint, but oh, look at him. Let me in. Let me in. Let me in. It's cold out here. Let me in. You son of a bitch. Stop staring at me and let me in. Alright. Told ya. It's cold, isn't it? Come on in. Yeah. Cats, right? So, it had 1950s teal lead paint on these walls. And the ceiling was it was a leaded white paint. So what I found out after, you know, kind of cleaning up the walls before preparing them for paint, the teal paint was not original, but it was actually applied afterward. There was a dark grayish color on these walls. Originally, that was the base coat. That was the. You're not going back out. Are you freaking stupid or what? I love you, but damn it, stop it. There was dark gray paint on these walls. Later on, probably late 50s maybe, late 50s, the original owner decided that dark gray is not the color for them, so they used one of the trendiest colors of the time, and they used a teal paint. It was a gloss color. It was a very glossy color too. Because the lead paint, well, because the paint tested for lead, unquestionably it was lead paint. I have decided to encapsulate it and, you know, just get it over with. The other reason I'm doing this is because whenever, see, like I said, I love the originalness of this house, but sometimes you just have to, you know, do something with it because on a humid summer day, you would open this basement door and you would immediately be greeted with the smell of cigarette smoke. So I surmised that somebody would occasionally smoke down here, and that would eventually work its way up and it would get into the paint. So the ceiling, you know, it had again, it had a lot of I don't want to say mold spots because it wasn't mold or mildew, but there was a lot of like a brownish spotting all over. It was a flat white paint, and once again tested hot for lead. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But I was getting what it looked like it was the substrate or the drywall paper that was, you know, with exposure to moisture over time, it was causing the craft paper to bleed through into the paint. So what I did is I had 2 coats of primer, and the primer that I used is it contains antifungal agents, so it kills off any organic, you know, fungus, mold, whatever might be, you know, on the surface or may eventually reach its way there. Don't know how well it'll work, but you know, I also also went ahead and I used this ceiling paint, which has antifungal chemicals in it that I've added to it. I actually did that for the bathroom ceiling because it's very common on bathroom ceilings for mold and mildew to form. So far that has not reoccurred since I've repainted the bathroom ceiling. So I think the stuff actually works. But there you are. But the real reason we're here right now is because, and why I just started my car, is we need to get ourselves to the hardware store and I need to get some wood. These stairs, it's time to repaint them. So I gave them a good cleaning last night with Dawn dish detergent, hot water, and a sponge. I also used a Brillo pad to really get down in there and get anything off. Any paint splatters I've removed. What I need to do is I need to replace a couple of treads though. The risers are all fine. That's the part that goes vertical. The vertical boards. Those are fine. But the treads here, like this one, I want to replace this one because it's got some, there used to be a 2x3 right here. There was also one right here. I've replaced this 2x3 with a 2x4 because the 2x3, here's a little side quest here. As the house has settled, for whatever reason, that 2x3 has developed a nasty curve. It was like out to here. It was crazy. Even though this beam is now completely level, I actually leveled it out with this lally column here. It was not enough for that to come back to its normal shape. So I had to just go ahead and replace it. Not only that, but the banister bracket was mounted directly to the wood, which caused the banister to bend outward quite a bit. So I've corrected all those malfeasances, and I think I'm in good shape. I also replaced the banister brackets with something a little bit nicer than what was here. Not a big fan of the banister brackets that are used in every house in America today and all the way back into the 30s. I think they're ugly. You know the ones I'm talking about. If you've got stairs in your house, and your house was built, in the 40s to the 1990s, 2000s even, we had those. And I just don't like the way they look. There's usually 3 screw holes. I should have kept one just to show you guys what it looked like, but you know what I'm talking about. They're all the same. They still make them, but these are nicer looking, and I just wanted to kind of class the place up a bit, I guess. Anyway, so for painting the stairs, this is going to be a bit challenging. The paint that's on these steps right now, because I had the can of paint that was used. I got rid of it already, but it was Service Star Alkylid Battleship Gray. Paint formulas have changed over the years, and that particular paint formula, which was, I believe, heavy on oil-based solvents, is no longer available. I've asked a few paint places. If it is, I don't know where to get it. I want to change the color, but I also want to, obviously fix the cosmetic issues. So we're going to change the color, but it was recommended to me by a couple of paint professionals to use a bonding primer on this, because all I can seem to get now is latex paint. And the paint that I chose and the bonding primer that was recommended to me was here's the paint. This is Bare Porch and Patio Floor Enamel, low luster. That's what I want. And the bonding primer I got at Lowe's. And this is a Valspar stain blocking bonding primer sealer. Basically a generic form of Kills as far as I know. Improves top coat, glide, adhesion, and durability. We'll see how well that is. This is white, and we're going to put that on top of that. So the bonding primer is supposed to allow me to use latex paint on this alkylid paint, I think. We'll see how it holds up. I don't have high hopes. But part of the process of painting these is I need to break through the gloss. So I'm going to have to get a quarter sheet sander. I don't have one. I have an orbital sander. It's round. Doesn't really do well in the corners. So I'm going to get myself a corner type sander, and I'm going to just give these a good scuff coat for mechanical adhesion purposes. I can tell you that latex does not stick to this, because I got a little bit of latex paint on. I wasn't very careful when I did all this, and the latex paint, you could just pull it, you could just wipe it off. I mean, it did not stick. So we're going to try the bonding primer trick and see how that goes. Get the hell out of there! Oreo! Oreo! Jesus Christ. They're, you know what it is? They're late adolescent males, and they're getting really curious about the house and everything in it. And as such, they're getting themselves into some trouble. They did all that. That was clean. They just got dirt everywhere. And this guy, while I'm around, he just, oh, I don't do anything. As soon as we go to bed, you can hear it's like a freight train running through the house, and you know it's these two. It's like, what the hell are they doing now? Love them and all, but seriously, guys, please, when I go run into the hardware store, you don't do anything at all. Just sit there. Okay. At least they're not dogs. That's all I can say. But yeah, latex paint does not stick to this, no matter what. So you have to do a couple of things, as far as I understand. And I'm not an expert. I'm not a painter. All right. Meow. 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 Shh. Shh. You have to hold back a shh. Where that came from. Meow. 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 Oh, you. Oh, this guy. Oh. Okay, you don't want to be held. Fine. Well. You have food, you have water. Wow. You were just out there. You begged me to let you back in. Wow. What's that noise? What's that noise? What's brother doing? What's he doing? What's he doing? Oreo. Oreo. I'm not letting you out. Okay, go ahead. You ruin my door seal any more than you have, and it's gonna be no catnip for you. It's cold, isn't it? I told you, it's cold. See? It's cold. You're freezing. You're shivering. Look at you. You're pathetic. Get back in the house. Get back in the house. Get back in the... I'm not gonna... Oreo, come on in. Let's go. Come on. Come on. Let's go. Okay, fine. I'll be right back, and you're gonna be wishing you had not done that. Anyway, I gotta go. We got. All right. Oh yeah, where was I? I got sidetracked with the freaking cat. All right. So I'm replacing 3 treads. People bitch that my videos are too long because I ramble. This is for you. So I got 1. Yeah, here we go. So which ones? This one here. This was damaged by the Roto-Rooter man. About a day after I bought the house. He came in with his giant machine for snaking drains, and he, rather than carry it down the stairs or use the back freaking door, which is a walkout basement door, he takes this 400-pound power snake and drags it down the stairs. cracking my beautiful stair tread. It didn't do anything wrong. It didn't deserve that treatment. And I'm like shaking my head. I'm not going to make a big deal out of this because you're here to solve my problem, but you just created one. Thank you. So that one's getting replaced. That one's getting replaced. And there were 3 of them. This one here. So I'm going to do this one, that one, that one. I considered going with oak and retreading the whole staircase. However, I have better things to do with my money than that. Oak is not cheap. Oak is not cheap. So we're not going to do oak. We're going to do pine. Now, the sad thing is, this is old pine. This is like old-fashioned, old-growth lumber pine. So anything I buy today will not be anywhere near as durable as what this is. And that is sad, but true. I could go with a hardwood and just replace it, but I'm not doing that either. We'll do pine, and I'm also going to add these stair treads. Now, these are going to make it a little bit quieter when you go up and down the staircase, and give you a little bit of nice little traction for your socks and whatnot, so you don't slide off the nice glossy paint. Or matte paint, whatever the hell I decide to use. Okay, off I go. Okay, so we're back from the Home Depot, and I found some 12 by 4s that we'll have to do. Okay, those are 4-footers. They'll do the job. I'm going to have to rip them down because they're 12 feet. They're 12 inches wide, or 11 and a half or something. So those are going to have to be ripped down on the table saw and then cut to length. How do we remove a tread? Well, let's find out. I've never done this before. So we got to rip out. I'm going to do one tread on camera, then I'm going to crank with stereo and do my job, finish them up. But let's see. I'm going to need one of these. And a tripod would help too. If you're one of my computer video viewers, I actually have a new PLA chip on order for this. It's which one did I get? I went with the I think I went with a Plankton. There's a few different ones out there. Oh, the replacement. That's what the PLACEM. The replacement. That's what I went with. So that'll be here next week, I think, and we'll have the hopefully have this thing running. I also ordered a new cap. Now I realize that the STL files are available for download freely, and yes, I considered doing that myself. I have access to multiple 3D printers, but I'd rather not do the work. So I know that is laziness at its absolute peak. I have a machine in my purview that I could literally make the part with, and I went and ended up buying one that somebody else did. So I'm lazy, guys. I'm lazy, but mostly the 3D printers that I have access to aren't the greatest of quality. So that's the biggest reason why I did that. So why don't we go ahead and do this one right here? I'm gonna take that tread out, and we're gonna get it replaced. So what I'm hoping to do is just pull those nails out with my Johnson bar or cloth. There we go. Go back up again. It's also cracked right here on this edge pretty badly. So let's do that again. So the thing is, we don't want to like demolish the damn thing. We just want to take out the damaged steps, and that's it. We don't want to ruin anything else. So I'm trying to be as delicate with this process as I can. Within reason, of course. Believe me, taking a sledgehammer to it will be very rewarding. But not at all effective. So you want to pull those nails out rather than, you know, start causing thousands of dollars in damage by, you know, using a sledgehammer. You want to be precise. At least I do. You can do what you want. Free country. Now, there are a couple of nails in the riser that we need to contend with. So, I think what I'm going to do, I don't want to damage the riser, but let's try to, there we go, look at that. Yeah, we don't want to damage the riser. Maybe if I, oh, just scratch the wall. I can pull the nails out this way. Not quite. Oh wait, I can get this one. There we go. There's one. Enough wood to replace risers because I wasn't, you know, doing it. Nail doesn't want to. A nail is stuck in the riser. I can't. Unfortunate. That's okay. Here's what I'm going to do. We'll do this easy the way. You'll do this the easy way. There's the nail. Alright. Done. Okay, now we got to cut a new one. All right, so we need to get the width exact. So it's 9 3/8 inch wide. Okay, we'll set our table saw to 9 3/8 wide. So what I'm going to do is set the width on this guide rail. What did I say? Was it 9 3/8? Yes, it is. That's about right. Okay. Lock it down. And they should all be 9 3/8. So we're going to probably just rip them all. We'll find the worst edge. Now I was able to find some lumber that had no knots in it. And I found one that had knots in it, but they were tiny little knots. When doing a stair tread, you want to avoid knots as much as possible because knots will fall out, especially if as the board shrinks and as it sees traffic, the knots will fall out if they're pretty big. But if they're small, like maybe that big around or so, not a big deal. But you also don't want them near the edges. So this board here, this here looks pretty good. Okay, here's one. Now let's double check the width, make sure we got it right. So before we rip down all the others. And they are all the same width. I did pre-check. Should be 9 3/8. Right on the money. Okay. So let's go ahead and rip the rest of these. Those can go in the scrap. Okay, so here's number 2. Got some knots in it. Okay, this side's fine. There's a knot on this end. It's a little tiny one. I'm going to take it off of this end. For one of the most dangerous machines I own, this saw is not in a pretty good, it's in the worst possible spot. There's stuff all around that. Very dangerous what I just did there. but that's okay. I have health insurance. It's a sad statement of our American ways. But anyway, now all we got to do is get them cut down to length. So I'm going to use the table saw for that too, because why not? Okay. Here's our original. We got. I'm going to just cut these to 39 inches. That is pretty much, I'm seeing 38 and 7/8, but 39 is not going to make a damn difference. So, I bet you these were 39 inches originally, but they shrink. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Yeah, these have a nice tight grain pattern. You can't buy lumber like this anymore, unfortunately. That's just how it goes. So we're going to mark these off at 39 inches. So we need a pencil and a square. It's a triangle, but they call it a square. I don't know, whatever. 39 inches. On one end of the board, one side of the board, we'll mark it. The square is only, what, 7 inches? So, board's 10 inches, 9 and 3/8. That's going to be our cut line. Fuck that. That's fine. I know where it is. There we go. That lined up just right on the blade. And about there. Yes, sir. Alright. So I got, yep, they're all, yeah, I got that first one. What happened was I cut on the wrong side of the line. I wasn't thinking. So if you do that, you can lose about 1/8 of an inch. That's about how thick that blade is. So you want to keep that in mind when you're doing stuff like this. So, let's see, try her on for size. Not bad. Not bad. So let's go ahead and nail it in. I was going to screw these in, but it's traditional to nail them in, so that's what we're going to do. So for nails, I'm going to use what I have on hand. These are 6D finish nails. I believe they're galvanized. No, they're not galvanized. I don't know what the gauge is on these, but they should be about 16 gauge according to what I'm looking at. But, you know, these will work. Alright, so I'm going to start probably in the middle here. I'm going to draw my imaginary line in my head. This is where I think it starts. So let's go right about there, because we want to get it right into the stringer too. So I think I hit something. Yeah, the stringer's got to be right about there.
based on the existing nails. I don't think that first one hit anything. I think it went right to the side of the stringer. You want to use finished nails because they sink down into the surface, which is more ideal, I guess. Well, if you care about appearance, that is. I don't really care. This is more of a basement staircase, but... Oops. I gotta work on my hammering techniques because I suck. So we're going to go right into the riser twiddle. Move the camera. Probably get it right about there. Get the other side. Where's my stringer? Right about there. So here we go. Right on the money. These nails actually came with the house, so you know. That's the fun thing about buying a house as is, as shown. Whatever they leave behind, you get to keep. Okay. Now we got to nail it in from behind. I'm just going to grab a couple of nails and go to town. Do about 4 nails maybe. And that'll secure the riser behind it to the tread. This is the one that I cut a bit short. So I'm not too crazy about that, but I'm not going to waste it either. Split the wood, because that's also very easy to do. So, watch out for that. Next, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to replace the other two, and then I'm going to grab my palm sander that I just bought, and we're going to sand every step, not to bare wood, but just to rough up the surface. And then we're going to probably round off, and what we're going to do is we're going to sand the edges of some of the steps that we're not replacing to give them a much better finish, to kind of get rid of some of the chipping and stuff that's happened over the years and wear and tear. Oh my god. Well, I got that step done, and I'm doing this one, and I noticed as soon as I pulled this step up, I'm like, what the hell is going on here? These stairs were already in place. Already in place when the concrete floor was poured. See? Those stringers are embedded into the concrete. I am flabbergasted. So, a little history lesson. By the time 1955 rolled around, or 54, so I know what you're thinking. Well, maybe the house was built without a concrete floor in the basement. No bueno. No. This was part of the original construction. But they had already framed the house. They'd already put in the stairs, and then they poured the floor. That is bizarre. That's all I got to say. Okay, all of our damaged steps have been replaced. Cool. Well, they work on the way up. Let's see how they work on the way down. Yep, they work. Okay, now to play with our new sander. This is not lead paint. I've tested it. It tested negative, so I'm not worried about any dust. But I am gonna, do what I gotta do. So why not do a tool unboxing while we're here? I'm not going to do what Ave does. I'm not going to use a chainsaw to open this box. I actually want to keep the case that's inside. And let me get a tripod. Okay, let's see what we got. So I went with the DeWalt because all my tools are yellow and don't eat the yellow snow. So, let's see what we got. This is the DeWalt DWE 641 1K. It's a quarter sheet sander, meaning it takes a quarter of a sheet of sandpaper. Comes with a nice little vinyl padded vinyl case, no padding. I love these. I love these cases because unlike the blow molded cases, they don't take up unnecessary space. They don't provide for a lot of impact protection, but that's okay. These tools are going to get destroyed as I use them anyway, so who cares? Alright, so we got our little palm sander thing. It's got the typical DeWalt dust bag that just clips on the back. I have hooked up a wet dry vac to these with success. Some success. It's not, you know. So like I said, I also own a DeWalt Orbital 5-inch sander, which I use all the time. And I love that sander. It works really well. Previous to this, I owned a Skill, kind of like a mouse sander. And it came with a million attachments. The problem with that is the Skill sanders use custom-sized sanding pads that you can't get anywhere. I could not find them anywhere, even where I bought the damn thing. So I just said, you know what, I'm not buying one of those again. I'm not sure what this is for, because as far as I know, the sanding sheet just clips in and around. To read the instructions. This must be, oh, you know what, I bet this is for, if you're not doing dust recovery, I bet you put this over top of here and it blocks all the, it blocks the ports. Let's see what this is what they call instruction books now. They don't do booklets anymore. It's a shame. Let's see. It's like a map. So you can actually, there's a paper punch is provided with your sander to let you perforate. Oh, that's what this is. So I can use any sandpaper I want, even if it has, whether it has holes or not. And I can use this to punch holes. Well, let's see what I got for sandpaper. Where's that bag of sandpaper? I just had it here a minute ago. There it is. Let's see what we got. I also bought some new levels. I cannot find my torpedo levels, so this buy one get one free for, what was it, 10 bucks from Empire? Not a bad deal. I like my Empire levels. I already have a bigger one, but these are handy to have, I'm telling you. Alright, so let's get some sandpaper. Did I buy the pre-punched? I did not. Okay, so I bought, oh no. I bought the wrong shit. That's okay. I bought sandpaper for the Black & Decker mouse. Hey, guess what? Look what I found. Too bad I don't have it anymore. This is not for that. I'm going to have to return that. This is the right stuff. I made that mistake. I was in a rush. So let's see how this works. So you take your sandpaper and you open up the little catch here. Put that back. And this one is spring loaded. So I believe what I do is I take my sheet of sandpaper and I just stick it in here. Where it kind of grips on. Make sure I get it nice and centered on the pad. And I fold it this way. Tuck it in. And then I use, oh, look at that. Nice. Cool. And then because I don't have holes in the sandpaper, I can take this guy here and go like that. Oh, that's so cool. Ha! Genius. And let's see what she does. this multi-speed or fixed speed? It's only one speed. That's okay. All right. Here we go.
Alright, so I'm going to have to replace that pad already, unfortunately. And I also got stuck on the wall here, so I'm going to have to patch the wall. But, importantly, I've got to set these nails. Those nails are, they're going to rip the pad. They catch on the holes. So we want to do something about that. So I'm going to run around with a hammer and pound those nails down on the old steps, and then we'll be able to continue on with this.
Well, we got the stairs kind of rough sanded a little bit, just to give the new primer something to bond to. Hopefully it works. So let me get that done, and that'll just take a little bit. I'm going to start on the outside and work my way on the inside. And we'll get this tripod out of the way. But ultimately, they're going to look very different in just a few moments. Don't even think about it. Don't even... Hey! Get up there! Stop it! Get up there! Can you do something about... Thank you. Stay where you are. Halt. Alto. Sequado, or whatever the hell that means. Don't even. Don't. Just don't. Just don't do it, man. You're really... He already got... See if I can get this. I already cleaned up some of it, but he already stepped on it. Yeah, there's a footprint. I don't want him to do it again. Come on. They're almost dry, so... Actually, yeah, they are almost dry. Let's put that cat door thing on. Amelia, hi. Amelia, what are you doing? This stuff is... Look at this. Look at this. Let me try to find a dry area here. That's amazing. This stuff really works. I mean, really works. Dude! Hey, not you two. No, you stay up there too. You both stay up there. Wet paint, bud. I know you don't know what the hell that means, but it means no kitties. Anyway. One more coat of primer, and then we can do 2 coats of top coat. Sound good? This is good stuff. This is really bonding. I'm actually surprisingly impressed at how nice it's bonding to that old paint. That's awesome. So, all right. So after 2 coats of primer, which I was again very impressed with the bonding strength after doing some scratch and tape tests, I went ahead and applied 1 coat of top coat. And you can clearly see it's going to need a 2nd coat, maybe even a 3rd, to clean this up. Once that's all done and dry, I'm going to get a couple of maybe 1 or 2 1-inch brushes, sash brushes, and I'm going to cut in where the real difficult spots are. And they need to be... I missed a spot right there. But we're going to cut those in with a sash brush, which is a paintbrush that's cut at an angle. And they're really good for kind of getting in those hard to reach corners and stuff. What I'm using right now is the cheapest 3-inch brush you can get at the big box stores. Not too impressed with that brush, but it works, and it was $3 or $8 or whatever I paid. It was cheap. In the future, I probably shouldn't buy those because they do suck. They tend to shed bristles with regularity. amongst other things, even after you shake out the loose bristles. But I think I like the color. I mean, once it's done, it's nice and trimmed in. It'll look even better. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this railing, if I'm going to change the color or what. I'm probably going to reinstall it the correct direction. It's not supposed to be this way. Okay, so we're just about to finish up this staircase project, and you'll see I'm putting these carpeted pads down. They're just a nice little touch on help keep the wear and tear down on the paint too. So, so what I'm doing with these is these are getting stapled down, and I'll show you how I do that. So, I've got just a normal manual staple gun. And the staples that I'm using, so these are 1/4 inch staples. They're probably a little bit too shallow, but these aren't, permanent. They're going to get replaced eventually when they wear out. But I'll show you how these go in. So I've determined that in order for these to be dead center on the step, they need to be exactly 10.5 inches from the end. So just stick that there. Drag it over to 10.5 inches. And I'm kind of eyeballing the centering front to back. Right about that should do. I'm going to take my staple gun and I'm going to push it into the carpet as much as I can with my hand. Pull. And do it again. And again. And again. Then I'm going to staple the I'm going to staple it right here too. And why not over here? That's permanent. Well, it's permanent to an extent, but it can be removed very easily. You can also glue these down, or you can use a double-sided tape. The nice thing about staples is you can pull this thing up pretty easily, and if you decide not to put them back on, you just fill in the holes with a little bit of wood filler, and then you can just repaint the step as needed. That's pretty much it. One more. The staples kind of blend in, you can't really see them. Voila. It's that simple.